And he's like, Ernest like, okay, great, man, you got our sizes. These are the Nikes we wanted. How much you want for them? And the guy goes, nothing really, just for you two to kiss. Hey, what's going on, folks? Another episode of Just My Opinion, and we are talking about Atlanta, the episode called Crank That Killer. Maybe I'm speaking too soon. I know we have a few more episodes left, but this might be my favorite or the best episode of the season so far. I really feel like this was, being that it's Halloween season, I feel like this was Atlanta's own way of having like a Halloween type of episode. And just think about it, right? It's like you got this far-fetched urban legend that turned out to be true, and to the point where it really gets into Paperboy's head that, damn, I really could be next with this Crank That Killer thing. Well, let me back it up a little bit. I'm not going to recap this scene by scene, step by step, because I'm assuming most of you guys may have seen it already. And for those who haven't seen it, there may be some spoiler alerts. So let's just start from the beginning. I enjoyed how, this episode is really focusing on the main characters. Unfortunately, Van wasn't in this episode, but we have Ern, Paperboy, and Darius. We got the three amigos, right? But they're having small talk, this and the third, and of course we have Ern, who brings up the fact that, hey, y'all heard about the Crank Dat Killer? And the whole idea behind Crank Dat Killer, of course, is anyone who created one of those Crank Dat dances, such as Crank the Soldier Boy or whatever. This one guy on Reddit or whatever message board, he did his above and beyond internet detective research and found out that, anyone who has created or participated in like the Crank Dat dance ends up getting murdered. And this urban legend turns out to be true. Well, throughout the episode, of course, Paperboy doesn't believe it, but as things keep happening, it's kind of getting in his head that maybe this Crank That Killer stuff is true. And of course, I always enjoy how they have like kind of side stories throughout the episode. And of course, we have Ern and Darius, they want to do their own thing and try to find like these highly sought after, dope ass Nike shoes. They can't get it through Paperboy's celebrity connection, so they're trying to find other ways. And of course, and I'm gonna get to it in a minute, but I do like how some of these episodes really do have like a message. And in this case, I do feel like the message was clearly how much black people can really, put so much effort and just time into something as materialistic as shoes. People waiting outside for hours for Jordans and all this other stuff. Shoes getting sold out within 30 seconds once they're available online. You get my point. But I do like the whole side episode about they find this guy called, what's his name? The shoe guy, the shoe man, whatever his name is. And of course, I love that twist of it because I'm not a sneakerhead myself, so I'm not worried about it. But I loved how the stakes was kind of higher in terms of what you needed to do to get these shoes. And he's like, Ernest like, okay, great, man, you got our sizes. These are the Nikes we wanted. How much you want for them? And the guy goes, nothing really, just for you two to kiss. And I just thought it was hilarious how Ern is not willing to do it. It was like, I'm not kissing my homeboy Darius for some damn shoes. Darius, on the other hand, he loves shoes so much. He's like, hey, man, let's just live in the moment, man. I need these shoes, man. Come on. So stuff like that I find hilarious. This was just a very funny episode through and through. Going back to Paperboy, for example, I loved how it's just like for a short episode, or for a 40-minute episode, there was just a lot of genius in this episode to me. Just some of the comebacks, some of the misdirections. We definitely have what's the guy? Very nice guy by the name of Doug, who really wants to work with Paperboy, but he's horrible. And I'm sure there's, in any profession, I'm sure you come across the guy who's very nice. You want to be cool with him. He wants to work with you, but he's trash at his profession. I don't care if it's music, photography, video editing, singing, whatever it is. He's the nicest guy in the world, but you know he stinks. That was just hilarious. Just the avenues Al was willing to go to not work with him. He's pouring soda on the studio equipment before the guy comes in. He's making all the excuses in the world. Man, the speakers don't work. Oh, the Wi-Fi sucks. I can't even email you no beats or whatever the case is. Just hilarious. And of course, as all this stuff keeps going, and still, Doug doesn't get the hint. He's like, okay, man, well, I'm gonna get you one time and we'll work together on some music. You know, he's just so nice. Paperboy is kind of afraid to just say, nah, I can't work with you, man. I don't like your music. But as the episode goes along, the Crank That Killer rumors just keeps getting bigger and bigger and more in his head. And clearly, Paperboy is worried about it because, as he showed Ern and Darius, he did a Crank That dance back in the day before he was famous. And now that he's famous, he's on the hit list, of course. I think it really messed him up when he called Soulja Boy, which I love the cameo. And Soulja Boy is like, yo, I'm packing up, I'm moving to a safe farm, which was kind of like a random joke or a play off of State Farm. So he's moving somewhere in a farm where he can be safe. And that really starts to mess with Paperboy. He was like, damn, if Soulja Boy is moving and he's the biggest Crank That dancer we ever known, I really need to do some soul searching. And here's where the misdirection comes in. For those who have seen the episodes, you know what I'm talking about. He's in the mall trying to be low key because, of course, creepy sounds and stuff start to really bother Ern. I mean, Al, we all been there. You've been home alone and maybe you hear like a noise in your house. It can kind of creep you out, especially if you think you might be murdered. So he leaves his house immediately, trying to be low key in the mall. And that's what was hilarious. Everybody picked him out very easy. And of course, the big misdirection is when this one guy comes through to confront Paperboy. Paperboy doesn't even acknowledge him as if that might be the Crank That Killer. Paperboy acknowledges him, but the whole time we as the audience, we're thinking that must be the Crank That Killer. And he is running throughout the mall. Shootout is happening. And here's another message that I enjoyed. How southern places are, how certain states are an open carry state. And, you got mothers with their baby in their stroller pulling out guns. You got southern redneck looking folks pulling out. It was like a whole shootout. And apparently, maybe I'm looking in too deep into it. Nobody shoot for shit. All these guns all these bullets is flying and nobody getting hit. Nobody is hitting this guy who's running down on Paperboy. And it was like a 4-to-1 gun battle. Like 4 random dudes is shooting at this guy trying to kill Paperboy and nobody can hit him. So I just feel like that's kind of like a under the radar type of message. Even if you open carry, it doesn't mean that you're a great shot. But yeah, I feel like there was some type of gun message in there. And of course, Paperboy is running and he is on the verge of death. He didn't get shot or anything, but he's kind of pinned down behind the car, and he is. And then of course, like a security or something like that tries to shoot at this guy trying to kill Paperboy at the last minute, which allows him to be saved by who? Once again, the callback, none other than Doug, the nice guy, who literally saves his life from getting shot. And even back into the van with the shoe guy, hilarious. The guy gets hit by a random bullet anyway. And if anything, that's the only person that died in this episode after all that shooting. And clearly Darius and Ern kissed anyway right before he died, just to get the damn shoes. And you know, they could, if they just waited a little longer. They still took his shoes though. You know, they see a dead man in the front seat, and they still, hey, that's messed up. Still get these shoes, especially after they didn't kiss each other anyway. Felt like it was owed to them. But nah, man, this episode was dope. I really enjoyed it. Once again, I feel like this was a Halloween episode. And just to recap, I definitely enjoyed the messages behind how, you know, we as black people, not everyone, but certain people kind of put a lot of stock into shoes. And I know other races do too. You know, you have white, Asian, stuff like knuckleheads. Sneakerheads, you know, aren't just within black people. I do understand that. But at least for this particular episode, I feel like that was a message how he was focusing on how black people really can go above and beyond in terms of just how much they care about shoes. I love the message about the whole, you know, open carry, and how even if you can own a gun, doesn't mean you're a badass with the gun, clearly. And yeah, man, and sometimes, you know, maybe like a third message that I didn't bring up earlier. Sometimes you gotta not worry about hurting the nice guy's feelings. Just let him know that you don't like his music. Granted, he felt like he owed it to him, so Paperboy does get on Doug's track, which is horrible. So yeah, man, once again, I felt like this was a Halloween episode. I really enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. And these are just my opinions, so love or hate them, just my opinions, folks. Peace.